they work so hard. You know, they really just work so hard to, you know, for 40 years to live on a piece of land and to have to get up and just decide that for your own safety you have to leave, and you have to leave all that behind. That's heartbreaking to me. My name is Shirley Atencio, and I've lived in the Valley my whole life. I'm a descendant of Teofilo and Andreita Trujillo, and of Pedro and Sofia Trujillo. They were my great-grandfather and my great-great-grandfather who homesteaded up on the Medano. Growing up, I grew up in Monte Vista, and I would visit my old aunt, my Aunt Andrea, my Aunt Estrella, and I would hear about life on the Medano because they lived there. My grandfather, Juan, was born there. And we just heard the story about the house that burned to the ground and that the family had to move. So the family was living in the Taos area at the time, northern New Mexico, very close to the Colorado border. And after Teofilo's father died, Teofilo decided to kind of move up north. And so they came up and they kind of broke away from that communal type of lifestyle. And I think they bought some property along the way and then gradually moved over to what is now the Medano, and where they built their homes. The ranch became huge. It was one of the largest ranches at the time. And he raised cattle and horses, and also then later really began raising sheep. They lived on the land for a while or around that area, and then they built their home. When you go up there and you're in the place, you just see how isolated it is, and it's impressive with what they could do at the time to build their home and to, you know, water their cattle and to garden. They had to do so much on their own. Colorado was a new territory, and so as part of their homesteading, that was the open range. They were able to, you know, to use it, but at the same time there was the competition for the land. There was this animosity that was, you know, happening between not only racially but also just over the land and what they were running on the land. The Dickey brothers, we kept hearing about the Dickey brothers, and they were the villains, and they came up from Texas, and they were trying to threaten the Trujillos off the land. They wanted them off the land, basically. And it wasn't just them, but probably others along with them. So with all the threats that they were experiencing, they were hanging on. They knew that it was dangerous, but, and I think Pedro was trying to warn his father, Teofilo, like, we need to change things. But Teofilo was stubborn, and he had all his sheep. He wanted to continue doing things the way he had been doing it. The threats continued, and they got worse, from firing into the home as to killing the sheep and mutilating the sheep. And so these things went on, and they pressed charges. They went into, the story is that they had gone into Hooper. They had all left in the wagon and had gone in. It was a very cold night in January. My understanding is that they had gone into a court hearing because of some of the violence that was happening and the charges that had been brought against some of the perpetrators. They were never found guilty of any of that. They were on their way back in the snow, going towards home, and they saw the flames of a house on fire. The Trujillo homestead, when we think of what it means to our family as a whole, it's a source of pride, and it's a source of inspiration, knowing that knowing the hard work that they went through and all that they did and all that they accomplished up there. For us as a family, it's meant a lot. It's really meant so much to us and to our children to know that their great-grandparents, their ancestors did this. You know, it was part of the pioneer, part of settling this part of the country. This video was created by the Sangre de Cristo National Heritage Area as part of their work in historic preservation and in sharing the stories of our community. Thanks for watching.